Welcome to Infidelity Insights, where we delve into stories where betrayal meets its match. In late May 2016, a person summoned the courage to ask their crush, Kate, out on a coffee date after admiring her for 3 years. 3 dates later, they officially became a couple, and for the next 7 months, their relationship seemed like a dream come true. They bonded over shared interests, rarely disagreed, enjoyed a fulfilling sex life, and had the means to spoil each other thanks to their good jobs. Both families cheered them on, adding to the bliss. However, in January 2017, a significant change occurred. The person was accepted into their country's Armed Forces Reserve program as a combat engineer. Basic training from February to late April tested them to their limits, with moments of doubt overshadowed by Kate's unwavering support through texts and calls. Her pride in their achievements buoyed their spirits, especially upon receiving their certificate. The real challenge began when they had to leave for advanced training in the summer, from early June to late August, nearly 400 kilometers away from Kate. Despite the distance, Kate fully supported their decision, sacrificing their summer together for the sake of their military career. The training proved grueling, marked by isolation and ridicule. Kate's encouragement remained their beacon of hope, helping them to excel and earn recognition. However, upon returning home, cracks began to show in their relationship. Unbeknownst to both, the person developed social anxiety during the summer, leading to misunderstandings and tension. As their 2-year anniversary approached in 2018, a heated argument escalated, resulting in a breakup. 3 days later, Kate reached out, expressing a desire to reconcile. Despite a 3-week separation, they rekindled their relationship, albeit with a noticeable shift in dynamics. Communication became strained, with the person feeling like they were walking on eggshells around Kate, exacerbating their anxiety and further straining their bond. The breaking point arrived at the end of July, when Kate's friendship with a guy named John turned into something more. Despite knowing John, the person never expected Kate to betray their trust. One fateful night, upon arriving at Kate's place, they found her and John together. Kate's cold demeanor confirmed the painful truth. Their relationship was over. In the end, betrayal shattered what was once a promising love story, leaving behind heartache and lessons learned. Following our emotionally charged discussion about ending our relationship, Kate reluctantly agreed to let me spend one final night at her place. Despite the lateness of the hour and her evident concern for me, she welcomed me into her space. Yet, despite her hospitality, an undeniable tension lingered between us, heavy with unspoken words and unresolved emotions. Throughout the evening, I couldn't help but notice a shift in Kate's demeanor. She clung to her phone with an almost obsessive grip, fiercely guarding its contents from my prying eyes. Any attempt to catch a glimpse of her screen was swiftly thwarted, met with deflective excuses about privacy and personal matters. In the stillness of the night, with Kate peacefully asleep beside me, curiosity gnawed at my insides until it became unbearable. With a mixture of trepidation and desperation, I unlocked her phone, the familiar passcode serving as an unwelcome reminder of the intimacy we once shared. What I discovered within those digital confines shattered the fragile remnants of trust that had managed to survive our crumbling relationship. Message after message lay bare the truth of Kate's deceit, exchanged between her and a man named John. Their words, dripping with excitement over her newfound single status, cut through me like a knife. But it was the cruel mockery aimed at my expense that truly pierced my heart, each message a painful reminder of the betrayal I had endured. As tears blurred my vision and a storm of conflicting emotions raged within me, Kate stirred awake, her sudden awareness sending a jolt of panic coursing through my veins. In her eyes, I saw a mixture of fear and anger, her accusatory gaze a silent condemnation of my actions. With a heavy heart and a mind clouded by hurt and confusion, I gathered my belongings in silence and left, the weight of her accusations heavy on my shoulders. The journey home felt endless, each step a painful reminder of the shattered dreams and broken promises that littered our path. In the days that followed, I grappled with the aftermath of Kate's betrayal, her attempts to salvage her image only serving to deepen the wounds she had inflicted. But amidst the pain and turmoil, a flicker of hope remained, a belief that someday I would emerge from the wreckage stronger and more resilient than before. Maintaining my calm, I took screenshots of the hurtful messages and continued conversing with Kate. Over the next 3 months, a predictable pattern emerged in Kate's behavior, a cycle of events that tested the limits of my resilience. It started with her airing grievances about her life, often pointing fingers at John for the troubles in their relationship. Then she'd reminisce about our past together, expressing regret and longing for what once was. However, as soon as John made a grand gesture to mend their relationship, she'd suddenly turn a blind eye to me. The next phase was more insidious. Kate would take to social media, launching a smear campaign against our past relationship. Her posts were designed to provoke me, baiting me into arguments where she'd skillfully twist the narrative to paint me as the villain. Once satisfied with the chaos she had wrought, she'd block me for a month, leaving me to stew in a sea of confusion and hurt. This vicious cycle repeated itself 3 times, each instance leaving me feeling more exhausted and broken than the last. Yet, paradoxically, a part of me welcomed the turmoil, perhaps seeking closure or validation for the pain I endured. Amidst the chaos, I diligently collected evidence, saving screenshots of every damning message exchanged between us. My SD card became a repository of betrayal, a digital testament to the lies and deceit that had corroded our relationship. Eventually, I reached a tipping point. It was time to confront the truth and seek justice for the wounds inflicted upon my heart. Armed with irrefutable evidence, I painstakingly made copies of the most incriminating messages and mailed them to those who mattered most to Kate, her family, friends, employer, and mentors. The response was swift and unexpected. People who had once condemned me now extended apologies, their words laced with remorse for doubting my integrity. Kate's own parents reached out, expressing deep regret for their daughter's actions and pleading with me not to pursue legal action. Though the notion of seeking retribution crossed my mind, I ultimately chose to refrain from escalating the conflict. The prospect of a protracted legal battle seemed daunting, both financially and emotionally draining. Instead, I assured them I would consider their plea and keep them informed of any decisions. Meanwhile, Kate's reactions veered from anger to desperation. Her accusatory texts sought to deflect blame, accusing me of betrayal and orchestrating her downfall. However, I remained steadfast in my silence, choosing not to engage in her attempts to manipulate the narrative. In the aftermath, I found solace in the knowledge that I had stood up for myself and exposed the truth. While the full extent of the repercussions on Kate's life remained uncertain, her subsequent struggles, a dropout from school and loss of employment, served as a sobering reminder of the consequences of her actions. To the original poster, your story is a testament to your resilience in the face of adversity. Your courage in confronting betrayal serves as an inspiration to others navigating similar challenges. In the chronicles of Just Wait, It Gets Better, a tale of naive trust and subsequent betrayal unfolds. As a freshman, I hastily embarked on a relationship with Megan, a girl who resided in the same building. Despite whispered warnings from peers about Megan's self-absorption and penchant for boasting about her aggressive demeanor, I chose to ignore the glaring red flags. The narrative took a distressing turn shortly after the Thanksgiving break. A call from my concerned mother alerted me to suspicious activity on my bank account. While I seldom utilized my debit card, I was baffled to discover unauthorized Grubhub charges totaling $104.29. Initially extending trust to Megan, I confronted her about the missing funds. However, her denial of involvement and suggestion to cancel my debit card left me skeptical. In a bid for clarity, I reached out to Grubhub's customer service, seeking receipts for the disputed transactions. Much to my dismay, the evidence revealed Megan's name conspicuously emblazoned on both receipts. Worse yet, the most recent order had been placed mere hours prior. It became painfully apparent that Megan had exploited my finances for unnecessary food orders, despite both of us having unlimited dining plans and living in close proximity to dining halls. Confronted once more, Meghan responded with defensiveness, expressing gratitude for my suspicion and implying an aggressive disposition. Unswayed by her rebuttal, I resolved to gather concrete evidence by obtaining security camera footage of Meghan retrieving the illicit orders. However, before I could execute my plan, Meghan appeared at my door, tearful and contrite, confessing to her transgressions and admitting to a pattern of shoplifting. Exhausted by the revelation, I deferred resolution until the following day. Yet news of Meghan's confession spread like wildfire throughout the building as she commenced disseminating her version of events. Opting to sever ties via text message, I resigned myself to the loss of 104.29 as a valuable lesson learned. But the saga did not conclude there. Within days, Meghan brazenly invaded my personal space, demanding items that were not rightfully hers. Caught off guard by her audacity, I found myself at a loss for words, perplexed by her unwarranted intrusion and insistence on appropriating belongings that rightfully belonged to me. In hindsight, the ordeal served as a poignant reminder of the importance of discernment and heeding warning signs in interpersonal relationships. While the loss incurred and discomfort caused by Meghan's actions were regrettable, I emerged from the experience imbued with newfound wisdom and a determination to exercise greater caution in future interactions. In a sudden burst of agitation, Meghan stormed into the room, demanding something without specifying what. Swiftly she disappeared, leaving me to hastily lock the door, anticipating further confrontation. Within moments she returned, pounding on the door and shouting for entry. Her cries echoed throughout the building, where everyone in our program resided, creating an uneasy tension. Meghan's aggression intensified as she shook the door handily and threw herself against it, attempting to force her way inside. Despite living adjacent to my resident advisor, RA, no assistance arrived, prompting me to urgently text him for help. As I anxiously observed, my sturdy wooden door began to strain and splinter under Meghan's relentless onslaught. Fortunately, my RA promptly dispatched 3 colleagues to intervene. They escorted Meghan downstairs, where she revealed her demand for a T-shirt and keychain she had given me for my birthday. Eager to defuse the escalating situation, I relinquished the items, hoping to bring about a swift resolution. However, upon recounting the incident to the resident life staff, they took swift action by implementing a no-contact order between Meghan and me. They also advised involving campus police to reclaim the stolen funds through small claims court. However, lacking transportation or funds for an Uber, the prospect of legal action seemed daunting. At the insistence of campus police, I contacted the Tittle Ike's office, detailing Meghan's troubling behavior. To my surprise, they launched an investigation charging Meghan with theft, threats, violent behavior, and instigating staff intervention. Reluctantly, I agreed to serve as a witness in Meghan's disciplinary hearing the following semester. The irony reached its peak when the hearing date was set for February 14th, Valentine's Day, a bizarre twist in an already surreal sequence of events. Despite the peculiar timing, the seriousness of the proceedings underscored the gravity of Meghan's actions and the necessity for accountability. When the day of the hearing finally arrived, the no-contact order remained in place, but some of my friends had been keeping an eye on Meghan. Firstly, she failed all her classes in the fall, and someone from my math class even confessed that Meghan had tried to be intimate with him while she was still dating me. He had to repeatedly reject her advances. What's worse, Meghan twisted the whole story to turn my friends against me. Learning that she had found a new boyfriend brought a sense of satisfaction, knowing that the Valentine's Day disciplinary hearing likely disrupted their plans. Arriving alone at the disciplinary board office, I was uncertain of what to expect. The board comprised graduate students, and the hearing was anticipated to extend into the night. Unlike me, Meghan didn't come alone. She brought both her parents as character witnesses, even though that wasn't really a thing here. Additionally, her parents hired a lawyer to defend her against the charges. The board felt this was unnecessary, but Meghan's parents were staunch believers in her innocence. In the spirit of fairness, the board offered me pro bono legal representation, provided by a junior economics major named Jimmy. Jimmy had already reviewed my account of the events and believed there was a reasonable chance the charges would stick, especially with the evidence I had collected, including screenshots of Grubhub receipts. However, I had kept a secret for months. I had filmed the incident when Megan tried to break down my door. During the hearing, when it was my turn to present my case against Megan, Jimmy played the video for everyone to see. The room erupted in astonishment, realizing that Megan had painted me as the villain in her version of events. In her narrative, she claimed I had given her permission to use my account and had hidden her belongings from her. But the video evidence proved otherwise. Witnessing Megan's parents and lawyer react to the video made me realize the satisfaction of fair and deserved revenge. The board found Megan responsible for all 3 charges, and my side recommended that the university terminate her housing contract. The board decided on the consequences for Megan's actions. While my side recommended restitution and a reprimand, Megan's side suggested only restitution and a reprimand. Eventually, a compromise was reached. Megan's family reimbursed most of the money she stole. However, there was a dispute over 2 of the 6 orders, with Megan's lawyer arguing that one of them was duplicated, reducing the amount to be repaid. Additionally, Megan was required to move into a different dorm building. This decision might have been a relief for her, since the students in our programs building knew about her actions and lies, leading to isolation and rejection from her peers. By the time Megan moved, she had already failed all her courses again, despite her family covering her tuition, dining plan, lawyer fees, and restitution. Eventually, Megan's parents withdrew her from school. Last I heard, she returned as a part-time student, but I never saw her again due to the ongoing no-contact order. Interestingly, I became Facebook friends with the guy Megan attempted to seduce, and Jimmy and I connected on LinkedIn. As for me, I've learned to avoid dating people with aggressive tendencies. Megan's actions were harmful and showed a lack of regard for me. While the consequences she faced might seem severe, she brought them upon herself. Revenge felt necessary in this situation to hold her accountable for her actions. In conclusion, Megan's actions had serious repercussions, but they were a result of her own choices. Despite the challenges she faced, it was important for me to stand up for myself and seek justice for her actions.